Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll discuss my thoughts on Season 1, Episode 11 of the DC Universe Titans series entitled Dick Grayson. For all intents and purposes, the Season 1 finale episode, and if you've been following my coverage on this particular series at all, you know that I've had a thoroughly love-hate relationship with it, with the lack of characterization, as I've talked about time and time again, about the main foursome of characters in the series. I feel like, circumstantial characters like Donna Troy, Jason Todd, the Doom Patrol, Hank and Dawn, Hawk and Dove have gotten that much more well-rounded characterization than even the main foursome. But I have stipulated that the closest personification of that out of the main foursome has been Dick Grayson, and a little bit Gar, Beast Boy as well, as far as the characterization goes, the depth of character goes. And if you watched more pointedly my previous episode discussion video, which contained a rant about the preview trailer for this finale episode, I was off the rails with rage at the seeming aside, once again, the seeming left turn away from the main overarching plot of the season to do with Rachel, to do with Trigon and bringing Trigon back into the world and all of that stuff. And I was just seething. As I started this episode to watch it, as I sat down to watch it, I was very much feeling a distaste for how it opened. This faux dream world, dream state within the mind of Dick Grayson, living out in California, having a son, being married tentatively to Dawn, and having another kid on the way. He's a happy family man and all this kind of stuff, and exchanging pleasantry messages with Rachel and Gar, who are off in college, and they're going to come for the holidays. It was all offsetting to me. It was all fakery to the nth degree, and I couldn't stand for it because it was the personification of what my argument was. I had said this was going to be all in the mind of Dick as overseen by Trigon, and I didn't want the whole episode to just be that. I wanted it to be going somewhere. And what I found to be the utmost interesting as I continued to watch the episode is after we got past that first quarter of Dick and Dawn and their happy-go-lucky life, and his finally needing to be convinced to go back to Gotham to talk to Bruce, because Bruce was really starting to go off the rails, and Jason comes along and says, I had one bad day with the Riddler, who's now using guns. He never used to, but a la Barbara Gordon, I got hit in the spine, now I'm wheelchair-bound and all this kind of stuff. They say Barbara was missing, by the way. I guess they can't use Batgirl in this show. So effectively, Jason Todd is relegated to that role, and he's coming back pleading and saying, look, Dick, you're the original Robin. You're the real deal. You're the legitimate article. You're the only one who's going to get to Bruce, because nobody is left who could potentially do that. Jim Gordon is dead. The Joker tortured him for a week and then killed him. And after chasing Barbara away, after what happened to me, after, what happened with you, leaving his side, and now Jim Gordon, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Bruce is going over the edge. He's about to cross that line in the sand that he had drawn for himself of where justice is actually the thing that he lands home, rather than becoming the criminal, the psycho himself. And as this finally commences in the episode, as Dick finally makes the journey back to Gotham, and we're seeing firsthand how dilapidated and overcome with criminality it has become. Even the cab driver at the airport, he's like, no, I'm not going to drop you off in Southtown. I'm not going to drop you off in Midtown. We're going north side, and even the north side, where he eventually takes Dick, unless he was ribbing him about where he was going to drop him off, it's not a pretty picture either. All of Gotham has seemingly fallen under the umbrella of criminality and just this despicable nature, and I started to get into the grit and the atmospheric vibe that was suddenly becoming a part of the episode. To my surprise, to my shock, and I have to say, surprising delight, I started to find it more and more compelling as the episode went on. For the 3/4 of the episode, as I was watching it, I was thinking, what am I going to say about it when I finally get on to do my video discussion of it? And I kept having this phrase that, even though it was a letdown as far as the overarching plot went, much as I speculated it would be, because this would be an aside, a self-contained, within the mind of Dick Grayson kind of plotting, I said to myself, the overarching feeling that I have about this episode is that as a standalone, holy shit, it is utmost compelling. because this is dealing with Dick having to go back and confront a Bruce, a Batman, who has gone off the rails, who has given into his psychosis, who is now going out and literally putting forth this, lethal judgment on criminals, beginning with the Joker. I mean, he apparently throws the Joker off a building, and, there is the Joker's body, green hair, white skin, purple coat and all. And, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, okay. I'm still kind of peeved that this doesn't have to do with Rachel and Trigon and everything, but I'm actually quite compelled by this. At least I've never experienced a story where Batman has finally lost it. He's finally gone insane. He's finally become as insane as the criminals he seeks to bring to justice. Like the Joker, like the Riddler, like Harvey Two-Face, and that kind of thing. And so, even though I was seeing the little bits and bobs still coming to the fore of Trigon as the one police detective, and trying to figure out what the point of this was, just messing about with Dick, or was it going somewhere, the more Dick sought Bruce out, going to Wayne Manor and trying to have a discussion with him, revealing the fact that the Joker actually survived his run-in with Batman, who had thrown him off the roof. And right then and there, I had a suspicion that, that's just going to make Bruce go after him again, And of course, Dick goes to the hospital or wherever they're containing the Joker, and sure enough, as he runs into Corey, now I had thought Anna Diop was playing somebody else entirely. I didn't realize she was going to be playing sort of a future version of Corey as she's been playing throughout the season. But, once Dick reunites with her and they have this discussion about, why he's in Gotham, what he's chasing after, whether or not he can help Bruce, of course, all through the episode you have these warp effects that keep changing the course of what exactly is going on in Dick's mind as, controlled, puppet mastered by Trigon himself. And the lights suddenly go off, the emergency alarms are going, ape guano, and Dick runs back to the room, and there is a fully caped and cowled Batman having shoved a batarang seemingly in the heart of the Joker, murdering him in his hospital bed as he convalesced. And I was mind blown. By that point, the episode had me by the lapels, and there was no turning back. Again, I was still peeved that this was not following on from the overarching plot of Rachel and Trigon and bringing Trigon into the world and the danger that represented and getting all the heroes together to put a stop to it. But that was lessening more and more from my focus as the focus was being drawn to the light that was this story of Batman going off the rails, of being consumed by insanity. And I was just on the edge of my seat. My mouth was agape, and I was like, wow, I can't believe what is happening here. Dick has to go, and willingly does so, to the chief detective. Of course, we know it's Trigon in disguise. He doesn't have any idea of that. And he admits willfully, Batman is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is Batman. And we're going to take him in because he's crossed the line. He's gone to Arkham in the interim. We have Corey calling Dick in to see. He has massacred not only the criminals contained within Arkham, including Harvey Two-Face, but guards and nurses as well. He's gone off the deep end. He is irredeemable now. He has to be stopped. And again, I am just compelled to all rational levels. I can't believe what I'm watching, and I'm astounded, compelled, and drawn in. The magnetism of the plotting of the episode had completely secured me down, fastened me down, and I couldn't wait to see, as the tension became palpable, what was going to happen. And of course, Dick gets the whole SWAT team together, and he's going to be overseeing it from the safety of a security truck or whatever it is. And everyone, there's a groundswell of armed forces entering Wayne Manor with the sole purpose of taking Bruce down. And they are yet no match for him. They get into the Batcave, and he just hands them their asses. He's murdering left, right, and center. Even Trigon's faux detective, personality within this dream state gets practically murdered by the hands of Batman. And as a sort of contingency plan, it's almost as though he knows, Corey's going to be there. Starfire, for lack of a better term, is going to be there with her powers and abilities, and he's got a cold gun. And he freezes her. He flash freezes her and kills her on the spot. And only after Dick gives the order to blow up Wayne Manor does something actually occur to stop him. He has a whole cave-in that collapses on top of him. And so we have this final confrontation of Dick going in, seeing that Corey is dead, and being motivated by that to walk over to a grunting, pleading Bruce, put his foot on his neck, and snap it. And I was like just confounded and compelled and completely just riveted to my pleasant surprise. And then practically answering bold-facedly to my concern that this was going to be an aside, that it was not going to serve any actual legitimate purpose to the overarching plot, do we interpose this edit of spinning around Dick, his eyes going black with Trigon's darkness. And there he is in the house with Rachel, Trigon and Rachel's mother. Rachel pleading, "Come back to me, Dick. Speak to me." And Trigon explaining that he had given in to his own darkness, the darkness within. Even though we know it's Trigon's darkness, Trigon presented him with a scenario in his mind that would seduce him toward it. Very Sith-like in that manner. And inevitably, that is the cliffhanger of the episode. It did end with a cliffhanger, which I felt like I was going to be disappointed by if it did not have some traction, if it didn't play into the overarching plot, if it didn't carry some weight. And holy shit balls, was this the weightiest of cliffhangers. It brought it a direct line, full circle, right back to Trigon, and Trigon escaping to eat the world. One man at a time, one hero at a time. He is consuming our heroes with darkness. And he'd completely won Dick over at that point. He'd completely manipulated him to the dark side. And I was like, holy hell. If I had any fears that this episode was going to deliver, if I had any fears that they had completely taken an aside that was going to be utterly meaningless to the overarching plot, well, smack me sideways, I was wrong. You heard it here first, folks. I admit, whole hog, wholeheartedly, I was wrong. This is the first episode that actually felt like, okay, they know what they're doing. And holy shit, did they do it superbly. Par excellence by the end of this episode. It was riveting. It was compelling. Batman going off the rails, needing to be reined in by Dick, only Dick being incapable of reaching Bruce because he had gone to that nth degree, and now it was a matter of taking him in, of bringing it to a halt, of stopping his carnage, Batman's carnage. Oh my God. This was spectacular. Way far above and beyond anything I could have contemplated or speculated it was going to be. Wow. In a word, wow. And I'm very happy to eat my own words and fears of my rant and rage in talking about the preview trailer for this episode. It was far better than I could have ever given it credit for. And bring on season 2, man. As soon as humanly possible. Bring on season 2, because I have to see where it goes from here. And so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of the finale episode of Season 1 of the DC Universe Titans series, Episode 11, entitled Dick Grayson. What you thought of this dream state sequence. What you thought of, Batman being off the rails and Dick having to effectively go after him and willfully give him up, in a sense. And then only being then succumbed to the darkness as puppet mastered, as manipulated at the hands of Trigon himself. Love or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. And of course, I'd like to ask at this juncture, if you enjoyed this video and would love to support my efforts on YouTube, please have a look at my PayPal contribution link posted both in the description as well as the comments below. You have options you can explore, very much akin to Patreon as far as setting up a monthly contribution, a one-time only kind of thing, or even send me personal messages along with the contribution, where you can request topics I may discuss in the future, request shout-outs, or anything along those lines. And it would just be 2 thumbs up for me if you took the time to check that out. Anything you saw fit to send my way would be absolutely spectacular. And so with that, that'll be pretty much it for me on this, and I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.